Hello and good evening. As always, I would like to thank you for granting me the opportunity to address you and to come into your presence wherever you may be, via your telephone, via your computer. As I know most people today is through their telephone. Today I had a conversation with somebody concerning my account, and they insisted that almost everyone has a mobile phone and people don't have house phones anymore. I don't know where they got this nonsense from. It's the same way they believe that everyone has access to the internet until COVID-19 hit, and a lot of the poor and dispossessed people in the society, children had to be doing their homework on a mobile phone because they did not have internet access. And during that period, it brought the memory of my previous wife, who is now deceased, because she too was of the false belief that everyone had a computer, everyone had internet, and she didn't realize that there is a disparity in society. Some people have $200 and $300 shoes, $600 purses, $1,000 purses, red bottom shoes, but they do not have internet service. They do not have a computer, and most poor people access the internet from their phones. So I'm not trying to put you down because you only access the internet from your phone. I'm not calling you a poor person because you're probably very rich. You have $1,000 iPhone or Samsung phone, and you know the Samsungs are the most prevalent among the mobile phones in the world. Not Apple phones, but Samsung. So I'm saying wherever you are, if you're on the toilet, if you're in your car, if you're at a party, wherever you choose to see and to receive the message of His Holiness Pope Peter Emmanuel I on this Friday evening, which is the Sabbath, which I come to say to you, Shabbat Shalom, happy Sabbath. May you have a prosperous week in the week to come. On this evening, I want, as always, to continue with the seriousness of our message and to remain consistent and to remain to the point. One of the things I wanted to show you, I like to show off my Wake Forest University Medical School shirt because a lot of people think they're the only ones who went to medical school. They're the only ones who went to law school. The only ones who went to divinity school, the only ones who have PhDs, the only ones who can be called doctor, and some of them have 2 and 3 and 4 doctorates. They call them doctor, doctor, doctor. But as most of you know, I have one PhD and I have one doctorate, and that is I am the witch doctor, I am the obeah man, and I am the voodoo master. I aspire to be nothing else. That is enough for me. My ego is not that big. I have a small ego. I speak softly and I carry a big stick. Now, in my last video, I think I had a feedback because I was using a headphone, and I believe the headphone was not just taking the audio. There may have been some conflict with the computer itself. So tonight I decided I would just speak through the computer. Well, it's Friday, and as you know, on Friday, it's the day that most people get paid. If it's cross week, you don't get paid. If it's fortnight, you get paid. And you know, that's the time we like to run Sukuya and Lugau and Laja Bless so we can go and get the money. So happy Friday to you. Happy Friday night. Happy Sabbath. May next week be a blessed week for you, a prosperous week. Where may you be protected from evil, from harm, and you be well. But as always, as you know, I am the voodoo master. I'm the leader, self-appointed as it may, of the tribe of Ham. I am propagating the message of the Renaissance for the African people and for the Hamite people, and most of all, to keep alive the spirit and the memory of our leader, Francois Makandal, who, hadn't it been for him and for his heroic presence on the island of Hispaniola and on the nation state they created, the French colonialists in Haiti. And there the people were oppressed. They were seriously oppressed. And Francois, he did like me, he didn't have friends, he didn't have allies. But Francois was able to put together a revolt and to vanquish many of the slave masters until he was betrayed. It's always the people closest to you that will betray you. Always remember, it is not your enemies that you must fear, but your friends, your family. Those who are closest to you are the only ones who can harm you. Your enemies cannot get to you. And so betrayal will always come from within. They betrayed Francois. They captured him. They cut his hands off. I think they had cut it before. I'm not sure. But they put him in the fire to burn. And Francois jumped out of the fire and he escaped. And from Haiti, he was able to make his way to Martinique, either Martinique or Guadeloupe. And from there, he came to Dominica and he kept secretly in Dominica. He joined forces with Jaco, and that's how Francois became to put his blood into my blood and to my family blood. And that's how I came to be a direct descendant from Francois Makandal. And that's why I am a Makandalist and I stand firmly with the new militancy that we are today preaching, that we are standing up for. I tell you, one of the most difficult things I have found in this life is to be a teacher. Even though I was born a natural teacher, it is very difficult. It is difficult to teach those who are closest to you, your family members, and sometimes it's a lot easier to teach strangers, those who are gravitating towards you, because they seek knowledge of truth and knowledge of understanding. But nonetheless, if you have a calling, you have to go towards that calling. And for all of my life, I have been like Jonah in the belly of the whale. I have been resistance to the call of the ancestors to go forward and to give the message of truth, the message of redemption, the message of revolution, the message of insurrection, and the message of the new militancy that must come into being if ever the African people, the Negro peoples of the world, must ever attain any kind of respect and any kind of dignity, whether it's in my lifetime or for generations to come. Many of us, whether we are in the United States of America, wherever we are, in the Caribbean, in South America, those of us who have had an opportunity to accumulate material well-being and material wealth, we feel that this is all it's about. You know, some of us pride ourselves on how many cars we have, how many acres of land we own. Some want to own all the land. Some want to own all the houses. Some want to have all the money. You know, a teacher once spoke to us and he said to us there were three men who went before God. He said the first one was a white man, a European man. And God asked him, "What do you want?" And he said, "God, I want all the land in the world." And God gave him all the land in the world. He said the second man was an African man. And the African man asked God, he said, "God, I want all the money in the world." And God gave the African man all the money in the world. As you'll see today, many Negroes, many Africans here in the United States, and you know, Negroes like to talk a lot. Celebrities, rich celebrities, Negro celebrities. They like to show their cars, their bling, and their houses. At the end of the day, they are still a Negro. And what they have, and you see, many of them are gladiators. You know, what did they do in ancient Rome and ancient Greece? They put on the, what they call it? It's the same thing like the football game and the basketball game. It's analogous to what happened in those times. You see, those things have no meaning. They are just there to neutralize the people and to not let the people think. The gladiators. So these are the modern day gladiators, the football players, the singers and the dancers. And you think, oh, look at them. They're so great. They're making money. And you think money is everything. But money is not everything, because knowledge is power. And none of these people have power. They are puppets, and they are entertainers for their masters. And they don't control production, they don't control distribution. All they do is entertain, whether they play football, basketball, sing and dance like Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kanye West, or whoever the hell they are. But what I want to tell you today, so that Negro told God to give him all the money. Then another wise man went before God, and I won't say who that person is, because that was how the teacher told it to us the day he said it. And it created a major uproar on the campus because it was alleged that he had made an anti-Semitic remark. And what surprised me was that there were so many educated Negroes with degrees in the audience, and none of them knew what that man had said. But the minute the man said it, I knew what he was saying, because the man said that the third person went before God, said to God, all I want is the address of the Negro. All I want is the address of the Negro. And so, given the address of the Negro, all the money the Negro was given, he can get it from the Negro. And you can see that today with all the so-called Negroes who profess to be billionaires and entertainers, and who create this image for our children, such that our children do not want to aspire to be scientists, or our children do not want to aspire to become military leaders. Our children do not want to aspire to master the science and the technology that is necessary to take us to the next level. My dear believers and unbelievers alike, friends and foe alike, I want you to understand, many of you have spoken ill and have been brainwashed. You have been so brainwashed that you love your enemies and you hate your friends. You love the Christians. You love Jesus. You love Allah. And you don't even know Jesus is a Jew. You believe in all this mumbo jumbo about God and the zombie and the devil and evil, when evil is a man and a woman like me and you. And God is a man and a woman like me and you. There is no God in heaven. There is no heaven in the sky. I have flown in the sky and I have not seen heaven. And if man God can fly to Mars, and if man God can fly to Mars, and he has not seen heaven, why are you buying into this false concept that keep you oppressed, keep you poor, and keep you deprived? And then when I come to you and I tell you about voodoo, obia, and the worship of your ancestors, you say, I am evil, I am bad, I'm no good. I've never killed you. I've never raped your children. I've never put sanctions on you to force your people to starve. I've never had a conference where I'm so strong that I can say that I'm coming to reorganize your country or to overthrow your leadership, as they did in Libya, as they did in Iraq, as they are doing in Syria, and to create war and destruction. Wherever the Europeans have gone, wherever NATO has gone, and sadly to say, my dear and beloved nation, the United States of America, whom I love and care for so dearly, that I will give my blood and my soul for its protection, that wherever it has gone, it has brought a trail of death and destruction. Death and destruction. And so today we're in a world that is at war. War has never stopped. Since the Great War of the 40s, it has continued from Korea to Vietnam to all of the insurgencies that are taking place. Go on the internet and do a search on where are there conflicts in the world, and some of you are acting surprised. You drink what the media tell you. They tell you, oh, Russia is so evil, Russia is attacking Ukraine. But do you know the root cause of the problem between Ukraine and Russia? Do you know that Ukraine is part of Russia? No, you don't, because you only came onto it when the media told you about it. And whatever they tell you on CNN, NBC, and ABC, you believe it. But you never go and find other sources to educate yourself about what's going on. But I want to tell you one thing tonight, and that thing is the voodoo movement is real. The army of Makandal is real, and that we are very serious, and those people who are with us are not ordinary, uneducated people. We have highly skilled, highly educated people, people who are medical doctors, people who are lawyers, people who are former members and current members of the US military and of other militaries, and that we do not believe in violence. We believe that the pen is always and will always remain mightier than the sword. And that is why I take this opportunity. Many people say, oh, look at him, he's making a video. He must not have anything to do. The reason why those people say that is because they're ignorant, they're stupid, and they're illiterate, because they themselves could never make a video like I could. They could not speak like I could. They do not have the knowledge that I have, and they cannot speak at length on a subject without notes and written direction the way that I can. Because I'm a leader, a born leader, natural leader. And what I come to tell you tonight, I want you to start thinking about giving your life and a commitment to the voodoo movement. The same way those ignorant Christians come to you and tell you to give your life to Jesus. Come and give your support to our movement so that your children and your grandchildren can have a better life than the life that they have now. This week and a couple of days ago was Ash Wednesday, and before that was Carnival, and we saw the decadence and the lewd behavior of people all over the Caribbean and in Brazil. And in Brazil, that's the only time the Negroes get to shine, is during Carnival. Because again, they are like the gladiators in the time of Rome and in the time of Greece. You understand? And they don't have anything else. That's all they have to look forward to. And it is sad. It is very sad that in the 21st century, that the Negro peoples of the world have to subject themselves to such behaviors. And they will go through any length, spending $10,000 to go to Trinidad, spending $8,000 and $9,000 to go to Dominica to what is really a defunct and illiterate party. But if you call them and you say, let us come together and let us put our financial resources together to build a strong organization and to strive for economic freedom and economic development, they will shy away, they will run away, they will not show up. The minute you say that, they will call you a thief, they will call you a con artist. They'll do everything to destroy you and your reputation, even though you have a clean record and a clean reputation. You cannot stop them from their party. A Negro, and that's what they do in Trinidad, where you have East Indians and Africans who come from the legacy of colonialism. The East Indians refer to the Negroes, they say all the Negroes want to do is party. And it's true right here in the United States of America. On a night like tonight, Friday night, many people are out partying. Negroes are out partying. Tomorrow night, they'll party too. And Sunday morning, they will be in church. I have a video I made back in the 90s or the 80s. It's called Saturday Night, Sunday Morning. And it is about the contradiction between the Negro people's way of life, where they go out on Saturday night, they fornicate, they drink alcohol, they snort cocaine, they shoot up heroin, and Sunday morning, they drag themselves into church.